Hello, I'm Nathan.
And I'm Jody, and this is Word on the Web. And it's also the 20th year that we have been producing the greatest end-of-year fundraiser known to mankind, the Extreme Holiday Extravaganza.
Yeah.
20 years
20 years.
Of greatness. And
which is where a question came in from a viewer who saw that the tickets are now on sale.
They are now on sale.
And wanted to know, 20 years, that's a long time. And
Yeah.
how did it start, was the question.
So I anticipated this question, and so I brought the man that I felt could actually tell the originating story. So it is my pleasure to introduce Curtis Stigers to Word on the Web. And Curtis, why don't you take us back to that time before Extreme?
Well, first of all, I'm very excited and pleased to be here. I'm a long-time watcher of the show.
Thank you.
And it's just amazing to be here where it all happens.
On set.
I mean, I'm a little bit, I'm a little verklempt here, but I'm going to try to overcome it.
Yep, we get that
Not
a lot.
everybody's used to show business.
So Jody, as you will definitely remember, considering that you are and have always been my co-host and co-producer of the show. It was back in 2006 that we met, the summer of 2006.
Ah, yes.
We were thrown together. You were working at that time for the co-op and the marketing.
Boise Co-op.
You were the head of marketing for Boise Co-op. And I had just moved back to town a few years before from New York. And I was approached to put together a show to raise funds for Victor Picanha, who was a beloved radio DJ here in town for decades. He did the KBSU show, My Private Idaho.
Right.
Or the Private Idaho Show is what it was
Right.
called, named after the great B-52 song. And Victor had very eclectic taste in music. He played all kinds of stuff. And one of the things he really liked to do was play local artists.
Right.
And so the co-op basically put the thing together. We did it at what was called the Big Easy.
So we were reached out. So Ken Kavanaugh, the president of the Boise Co-op, who loved local music, loved Victor, found out that he had been diagnosed with terminal cancer and that it was terminal. And so then he reached out to me and said, hey, there's this musician who's just moved back in town who's interested in doing this fundraiser.
Musician.
I want to, whatever. I want to put our marketing behind it. Will you help this guy do the show? And that's how we first connected.
And so I put together a group of local artists, musicians, dancers, comedians, actors, and we put on a variety show. And it was silly. It was at what is now called the Knitting Factory. Back then it was the Big Easy. And we raised a bunch of money.
And I did all the marketing for it.
Jody did all the marketing. At the end of the night, I said, wow, you did a really good job. The place was full. We made a bunch of money. What a great thing. You know, I used to do this show back in New York at the Bottom Line. I was just one of many artists, and we would do something like this, except it was bigger. And it was called, it was the Glenn Burtnick's Xmas Extravaganza. And it raised funds for a food bank in New Jersey, and people like Patti Smith and a wedding singer from Queens and me and Styx and all these weird different types of acts, comedians who would get up and do funny songs. And they raised money for this, and we should try to do that here. We could, raise money for charities. And Jody said.
And then I said, Curtis, this sounds like a fantastic idea, but as a Jewish girl, I'd prefer if we called it the Extreme Holiday Extravaganza.
And so the extravaganza was named. It was no longer the Xmas.
But still the focus on local talent.
Indeed, yeah. The idea was to put together a bunch of people that we knew, that I knew. And so I went out and started calling my friends who are musicians. And as always, the musicians were happy to step up for free, because that's what we do. We take care of each other. We know, musicians know as well or better than anybody that life is really tough without a safety net. And musicians don't have 401ks, and they don't usually have insurance that comes with their jobs. And so people stepped up, and it turned out to be a really fun first show.
It was great. The first show was one night.
Yeah.
And it raised I think the first show raised $10,000.
Okay. Yeah, we were doing it at that time with a local radio station
Yes.
that we no longer work with.
for many reasons, but we won't get into that. But yes, and then we moved it to its second location,
To the Morrison Center.
and that allowed us to have more people. So we raised about $25,000 that year.
And that was bigger, and there were more artists, and it was crazier. But the Morrison Center, although it's a beautiful place, it just didn't fit. It didn't feel
It was
right.
too big. It was too big.
It was too big, and you couldn't, at that point, you couldn't even bring a beer into the
Which is
auditorium.
not conducive with this audience at all. No, siree, Bob.
So then we moved it.
Not only did we move it to the historic Egyptian Theater, which is such a beloved stage for so many local musicians, it actually made it even more exciting for them to contribute because it's something to be on that stage. But we got this silly idea that, it's sold out every year so quick. Maybe we should do 2 nights. And so that's when we began doing a Sunday night and a Monday night show,
Yeah.
which then raised up our ability to fund even more nights of shelter.
Yes,
So
yes.
we, at that point, I think that's when we hit 250. That was the first year that we raised $250,000. And at that time, Interfaith Sanctuary was operating out of the warehouse, but they were really just doing overnight shelter, a warm meal, a shower, and then nothing else during the day.
Very, very minimal.
And so the Extreme Holiday Extravaganza literally covered their entire operations budget for the year.
And what I loved about, you'll remember that the first year, for full disclosure, the first year we actually benefited another
Yes.
organization. We benefited the Family Advocates organization, which was a great one to do. But,
Yeah.
but the second year we found Interfaith, and Interfaith found us.
Yes.
And it just, for me, I've always loved the idea that Interfaith is a low barrier shelter. Everyone is welcome. No matter who you love, no matter how you pray, no matter where you're from, if you need help, if you've got problems, okay, we'll get to those, but let's get you a place to sleep, something to eat. I love that. That's what I love.
And families get to stay together.
And families
That's
stay
what
together.
really, really sold me. Like the idea
No matter
of
how you define
no matter
your
how you
family.
define your family, like when you're in that kind of trauma, to have to separate from your family, it just seemed like, thank goodness there's an organization that's keeping them together.
And you don't have to say that you're this religion or that religion to stay. You don't have to say this is your preference or this is your identity. You can be yourself, and as long as you're nice and you help out when asked.
Yeah.
A little sweeping every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a little mental math, that's over $4 million.
It's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of money from
Yeah.
one idea. Really, if you take it back, it's
I know.
it's one
Remember when we
idea.
did 3 nights?
3 nights in the year.
Okay, so the story of 3 nights was that my sweet husband was driving home and there was a terrible winter storm. It was when Boise used to get snow.
Okay.
And there was a mom and child standing on the corner of a street in this snow holding a sign. And he came home crying. And he said, we have to do 3
have to do
nights.
more.
We have to do 3 nights. And it was at the same time that the tent city behind Interfaith Sanctuary was being disbanded. All of it kind of culminated. Well, that's a hard word for me, but I'm going to let you not edit that. There are certain words that have too many syllables for me, and I'm not ashamed to say it. But that one year, we raised 2 nights for Interfaith Sanctuary and 1 night for Corpus Christi. It was Corpus Christi at that time because they were getting so much pressure on their system because of this disbanding of the camp. So that 1 year was 3 nights.
3 nights was a lot. I was very tired.
When we were done
Yeah.
with that week, that felt like a year and
Felt
a
like a
half.
year.
I just gently said, "Don't drive it outside anymore."
Don't see
because
any poignant,
we can't do
sad
3 nights.
things,
I mean,
yeah.
just the energy that is required to produce this mammoth show.
So the show is everything. The show it's as we used to say, it's not your grandfather's variety show. It's got dancers. It's sometimes we'll have comedians. For years we used to have the Fool Squad be our hosts, who are 2 incredibly funny comic actors from the Shakespeare Festival, including the late great Tom Wilmorth.
Who we just lost.
We just lost.
Yes.
A lot of our favorite artists have gone on to the extravaganza in the sky. John Laufenberger, the great rock and roll singer, he used to take a popular song. One time he did the song "I Believe in Miracles,"
Yes.
and he changed it. "I believe in Santa Claus."
It was so great.
You jolly thing,
Yeah.
you jolly thing.
And the late, great diva of the stage, our very own Margaret Steigers,
My mom.
who was part of the Divas. They've been with us since day one.
Yeah, the Divas of Boise.
I
It's
can-
a bunch of women in singing their heads off and wearing crazy bugle beads and spangly clothes. It's a tradition. This has become a tradition. There are families that have been coming for 18, 19 years
Yeah.
who used to bring their little children, and now their kids come home from wherever they live. They come to go to this show with their mom and dad,
Yeah.
or with
Yeah,
their
it's a
mom
great
or their
show.
dad. It's really a lovely thing. And each year we get new artists. We've had young up and comers come through the show over the years and grow up to be great adult artists, or go on to other things. But it's become a family. The backstage is, I'd say, even more fun than being out front, because it's like a family reunion for musicians who don't get, some of them, this drummer doesn't get to see this drummer very much because you only have one drummer per show. So on those shows, the drummers get together and the bass players slap each other on the back and have a little cheer and some good snacks. And
It's our way, Interfaith Sanctuary's way of thanking these musicians for all the generosity. We host them every year, 2 nights of holiday party with a lovely green room that's sponsored every year by Dave Crick.
Yeah.
Every year he makes sure you have your meats and cheeses.
Meats and cheeses.
Meats and cheeses.
Dave Crick, of course, has Red Feather and
Bitter Creek
Bitter
and
Creek.
founder of City of Good and Diablo
Diablo and Sons. yeah.
Diablo and Sons.
It
yeah.
takes a village. I mean, it's corny, but it does. So many people donate so much. All the
crazy.
artists donate their time and their work.
The wine and beer every year. The
Always
proceeds
donated.
get to go to help us. So Cinder Wine has been one of
Amazing,
our
yeah.
great supporters forever.
Idaho Mountain Touring, Chris Haunold of Idaho Mountain Touring has been there every year to donate bicycles to auction off.
Yeah.
It really is the community coming together to do something good and to do something right, and it's a heck of a lot of fun doing it.
It's so fun. And this year, as the 20th year, coincidentally, it is also Interfaith Sanctuary's 20th anniversary. We were founded on December 5th. I'm scared to say the year because I might be off by a year.
Well, if it's 20 years, it would be 2006.
Yeah.
Because this is 2025, and it's
We're in the 20th year.
Yes, so let's go with that.
We're in the 20th
Nice.
year.
Nice.
Yes,
Congratulations.
we're about to kick off our 20 year.
Yeah.
And there we go. So this is the way we're going to do that.
Well, this year, we are, for the second year in a row, we are doing the show at the Tree Fort Music Hall
We are.
downtown on Capitol Boulevard at, what is that? I always forget what that street is. Anyway, you'll figure it out.
Broad Street.
Street.
It's Broad Street.
Capitol and
Capitol
Broad.
and Broad.
And it's a really wonderful venue. It's the backstage is, I always talk about backstage because I'm a musician.
It's a great backstage area, yeah.
They've created such a wonderful place to go see a show and to perform a show. I'm really, really impressed with them and that space in particular. So we're going to be doing that 2 nights, the 4th
14th and
14th
the
and
15th,
15th.
Sunday and Monday
December.
of December. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
tickets
coming
are on
right
sale
up.
now. They're at curtissteigers.com. They're at interfaithsanctuary.org. They're at Treefort's website. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, you can get them in. But you know what? I mean, let's warn you. It sells out every year. And no, I don't have hidden tickets. And no, like if you call me that week,
We'll
there
just
is-
cry together.
I know, because there's a capacity to the building. I can't make miracles happen.
Get your tickets now.
You
They're
gotta
going.
do it.
There'll be an amazing lineup.
We should do a shout out for our graphic designer.
Oh my gosh! And yes. Okay,
So beautiful.
in celebration of the 20th year, Curtis actually introduced me to the artist who did your
My latest album. His name is Scott Smalljohn. Schmaljohn. Scott.
Schmaljohn.
I've known Scott Schmaljohn as a punk rock hero since I was in high school. He's actually a year or two behind me in school, a year or two younger than I. But he was in a band called State of Confusion, which was a seminal Boise punk rock band. And then he formed a band with Doug March called Tree People in Seattle, and they were gods of that music. They didn't quite make the wave that Nirvana and everybody did, but they were elbow to elbow with them. And Scott Schmaljohn is an incredible guitarist and singer, and his band Play Dead will be playing the
I
show.
know,
I'm
which is
excited
so
about
exciting.
that. But he also
He did the
is
graphics.
a graphic
He
designer.
donated his time and talent, as usual. He said it would be my honor to make the 20-year art, and it's fantastic.
Yeah,
I love it
he-
so much.
His work is so great. You should hire him if you need to.
If you need any kind of
graphic
graphic
art.
support, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Scott Smalljohn, everybody.
Yeah.
20 years of fantastic, 20 years of peace, love, and music. He came up with that. I love that so much.
And a little dancing and you know.
Overall good time.
Yeah,
fun.
overall good time.
And don't forget backstage.
In
And
the
the-
backstage,
there
and
is
the
some
meats and
backstage.
cheeses.
Oh my gosh, the meats.
And here's
cheeses.
the goal for this year. You know, it's the end of year, and it's part of Avenues for Hope, which we're always a part of for supporting housing and homelessness services. And so the goal this year is to get 20,000 nights of shelter sponsored, and you can do that right at this event. You can help us to hit that 20,000 mark. Hopefully, we'll hit it on the first or second night.
Bring your credit
Yeah, team.
card.
So
Bring your
tickets are on
credit card.
sale. So
Tickets are on sale.
Act quickly.
Curtis, thank you so much for telling the tale of the Extreme Holiday Extravaganza. It's really been an honor and privilege to work with you these 20 years.
Yeah, happy anniversary.
I see your growth. I think you've gotten better. I mean, I, of course, was very comfortable on stage when this first started, but you seem to really adjust it to the limelight well.
I'm doing my best.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Be part of your show business world.
Yeah.
Well, with that,
Yeah.
thank you. Thanks for joining us. And keep your questions coming.
Yeah. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.